Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the gnome train.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
So I'm Frazly, and I am joined by my great friend Razuris. It's good to have you, Razuris.
Chocolate, hit the button.
What's going on? Wait, Chocolate? What are you doing?
This isn't FrazlCast After Dark.
What's going on?
I'm taking over this show.
Oh, go! Hey, that's awesome. I'm just like, I'm nervous, so freaking out. I don't know what to do because I've never had someone take over my own show.
Welcome to the first and only RazlCast.
Wait, where'd you get that name?
I don't know. It just came to me one day.
Oh, interesting.
But that doesn't mean I don't have complete control over everything. So, Epic Insanity, what time is it?
Well, I don't even know you.
No, wait a minute. I'll tell you what time it is. It is time to turn the tables on Frazzly Sparkspan.
I'm all frazzled now. I don't know what to think or what to do.
It is everybody's favorite awesome gnome, and we need to know what makes this gnome tick.
I'm blushing.
Are you ready for these questions?
Yes, I was born ready. I came out of the womb screaming. That's what I always say to people.
Did you ever quiet down?
Not really.
So, when did you start playing World of Warcraft?
That was actually during the open beta for WoW. I saw an article on GameSpy, and I was like, this looks interesting. So I played the beta. I was like, I got to have this. Then I asked for Christmas. I got to say, that month waiting till Christmas was one of the longest months of my life. That and when we were in detention for a while because someone in second grade cut someone's hair and did not say who it was. And that was not me. That was not me. I promise.
You sure you weren't just acting out?
No. I would not cut someone's hair.
Did they maybe have some gum in their hair and you were just trying to be helpful?
Well, I mean, gum does taste good. No. It wasn't me. No. So I started playing WoW on December 25th, 2004. And I was a dwarf warrior who, I don't know where that dwarf warrior is. I think they might be gone now.
You mean you purge a character?
I used to do that a lot. Like I would have all these little gnomes running, and like when they got to Darkshire, I would then decide to get bored of them and delete them. So yeah, I used to purge a lot of characters. I even purged a level 60 paladin at one point.
Well, I'm going to use some of a certain podcaster's great questions. Her name is Lita. I asked for permission and she granted it to me.
Oh,
and
Lita!
I thank her very much for that. I'm going to ask you some of Lita's favorite WoW questions that are amazing. What would be your favorite zone in... Oh, and by the way, I'm asking these questions just to see if the answers are going to be the same or if they've changed since you've been on Behind the Avatar.
Oh, wow.
With Lita.
Because I have most definitely changed my confidence. There, I was even using like AirPods, and so I wasn't using a real mic. A lot of things have changed in that episode of Behind the Avatar.
And it's been some time, too.
Oh, yeah, because that was 2017. Wow.
Okay, what is your favorite zone in all of the World of Warcraft?
Okay, it might have changed now. It has to be Grizzly Hills.
It has changed.
What was my first answer?
Elwyn Forest.
Oh, yes. I mean, Elwyn Forest is good. It really is good. But Grizzly Hills has that music. It is just like, I love that zone. I love when you get in there and you hear the fiddle or dulcimer, whatever that is. There was an article on what the instrument is that they used in WoW, but you hear that. And then, of course, you have the poop quest, where you are told to get these seeds, then eat them and then poop them out.
Where isn't there a poop quest?
Exactly. Like even in Twilight Highlands, there's those outhouses that you have to go to, and you're talking to the person in the outhouse. So that's still a poop quest.
When you answered Elwyn Forest, you used the music as one of the reasons why you really enjoyed Elwyn Forest. So
yes.
At least you're consistent in that part of the answer.
And the music there is still good. But yeah, Grizzly Hills, I think, just takes it up a notch.
Who is your favorite NPC?
Oh, this is definitely changed, because back then we did not have BFA. We didn't even know that we were going to Cotiris back then. It has to be Wolford Fishbracket over in Tiergard Sound. who takes the selfies of the different areas. That is my favorite one. Because I'm going to say, I have a feeling somebody at Blizzard knows that I like taking selfies on walks and all that, and that I'm a gnome with blue hair. Because I got a feeling it resembles me. I could be totally wrong, but I'm just going to take that as my WoW NPC in the game. Because plus, it's a gnome, so they'll overlook it if it's not it.
I mean, why wouldn't it be you? That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, why it wouldn't be based off of you.
Yeah.
Your answer before, do you remember what it was?
No.
It was Buddy.
Oh, Buddy! Yes! Over in Vestier! Oh, I think I must have just done Vestier on a new alt at that time. And Buddy's also fun in Oldham.
Okay, what is your favorite dungeon?
Oh, well, you're probably going to have the same one as last time. I got to preface it, though. This answer is not a dungeon. It's just a city that has not been reclaimed yet. But that will be Gnomergon!
That is not your answer.
What? What? Did I betray the whole gnome race by not making Gnomergon my favorite dungeon? What was wrong with me back then?
Your answer was the Scarlet Monastery.
Okay, yes. That, I think, would be my second favorite, because I love the atmosphere there. Okay.
Well, we're just going to have to move along from that question, because that was just a little bit embarrassing to gnomes.
I know. I'm sorry. No, please don't disown me. Please don't let me out of the city. No.
What would be your favorite profession?
Ooh. I still say tailoring. No, not tailoring. Tailoring's good, but even better is engineering, because of all the cool toys you can do. Because tailoring has like the magic carpet, it has things I want to go for. But yeah, no, engineering's the best.
Ding, 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 ding. There's a match.
Yeah.
Engineering. What is your favorite thing that you could craft out of engineering? This is going off the rails from Lita's questions.
I like the world shrinker, where you can make yourself smaller. Or no, that's one that makes you bigger. Okay, yeah, that's still cool. Because I like that one, because then like I can truly be the tallest gnome of Azeroth. And I was one day. I was like, it was kind of frightening.
What is your favorite mount in game?
Ooh.
Let's see if this stays the same.
That definitely has changed, because finally getting it felt so good. It has to be the Onyxia Drake, because I remember Onyxia from Vanilla, and I remember like I went into Onyxia once with a group. I was not part of the raid team that was going in there a lot, but I've always had a fondness for Onyxia's Lair. That would definitely be my favorite one. And plus, when I got that night, the Twitch clip was like, wow, and I got like a level 5 hype train. Just like that whole evening was amazing, and I had so much fun. I still remember hanging out with my friends that evening.
I was going to ask you if you could recreate your reaction, but never mind, you already did, so that's great.
I can also recreate the Carolina Reaper. Any other recreations you want me to do?
Oh my god! Well, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Do you remember what your answer was?
Was it like the X-53 touring rocket?
No.
What?
Your answer was the Alliance Chopper.
Okay, I can understand that. Yes.
Okay, now, what is your favorite raid boss fight?
Ooh. This one might still be the same. I still say Black Hand, because I like when you're in there, all of a sudden the floor just goes out from underneath you, and you're falling through and falling through. I did not realize that WoW could do stuff like that. That like still surprised me the first time I went in there. Like, whoa!
Yep, this is an exclusive, people, an exclusive on FrazlCast, because back then it was spoiler alert. So that extra bit about the floor giving way and all that was not left in the cast.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, that makes sense, because we were still in Warlord at the time, right? Or yeah, no, we were in Legion.
This stupid question, but do you use add-ons?
Yes, a lot of add-ons, actually. Do you want me to go through all the add-ons, or just say?
No, we don't have the time. What would you say your favorite add-on is that you simply cannot live without? And I know this has changed.
Yes, this has definitely changed. It has to be the add-on Immersion, because when I'm especially streaming and I'm trying to read quest decks, I like having the big quest text and the big options, because I just do not like Blizzard's default quest UI. I need to change the font in, because Renata showed me how to do it from a guide at Wowhead, but I just need to still go in. But yeah, every character has to have immersion no matter what.
Do you remember what your add-on was?
Is it like all the things?
No.
What was it?
Zygor.
I'm not even using Zygarde anymore.
I know. That's why I said it has to be different.
Wow. I mean, nothing against Zygarde. I just wanted to save that money per month on it. And I'm using like WoW Pro now and Azrael Autopilot.
Yep. What is your favorite expansion?
I still would say Legion because it was just such an amazing ending to the demon storyline for now, because you've heard the theories that demons could come back again. Or like we could do time hops and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying time skip, but like hopping around time. But yeah, Legion just felt so good. And coming back to it, I loved experiencing an expansion for the first time because that was back when I first came back to WoW. And I still love an Argus when you saw Argus in the sky, then became a red dot. Having the world change like that was really cool. And then, of course, the ending with the sword and Silithus.
You said Mists of Pandaria.
Okay, I can still stand by that as like my second one because I was not here during Mists, but I love that expansion.
You weren't here during Mists? What did you possibly take a break from World of Warcraft?
Oh, yes. So I left World of Warcraft right before the Burning Crusade because life was just not working for me at the time with like WoW, because I was playing WoW on a raid team in Molten Core for long hours, and it was just affecting my schoolwork and stuff like that. And I just needed a break. And I came back for Cataclysm, but then I had to leave again because my friend left when I brought into WoW around Cataclysm. And then I was like, I had no community back then, which is why community is very important in WoW.
Oh, here starts the drinking game. Every time Frazley says community, I'm taking a drink.
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. Next, we will go to what is the Genome Project?
So the beginning of 2019, it might have actually been the end of 2018, Michael of the Blue Recluse, and now Tuners Maybe More, came to me and said, hey, Fraz, you know what would be kind of fun is if we did something together. It was going to be like a video series where we went through stuff and then like put it on YouTube. Then we were running into like the editing issues and like getting it to work right. So we started streaming it. And now every Wednesday, we just get together for about an hour, level up some gnomes. And Michael and I have become good friends. I actually would say best friends. And like through it, I've got a lot of best friends. So just FYI, not everyone's my best friend, but I got a lot of best friends. Yeah, we've become really good friends to there. And in fact, he invited me out to his wedding in May. So I'm excited for that. I'm in the money that was going to go to BlizzCon this year is being saved toward that.
Look for a big present.
Oh, that's right. You do get presents for the wedding couple. I'm going to do the wedding registry because it's going to be that way. I don't have to worry about shipping it out.
That'll be amazing. Now I'm going to go back to a WoW question, and I'm going to ask, this is going to be a controversial question. Is there a race class combo that currently doesn't exist in World of Warcraft that you wish did exist?
Before I say this, Allie's going to kill me because Allie's leveling an iron just by killing this race. I want a Murloc Bard because then it's easier to get past DMCA and stuff. And you'd be like, that's like some sci-fi show, or like one that we all know from Groundhog Day. I almost sound like a dog though. I got to work on my Murloc.
I really am shocked. I thought for sure you were going to say a gnome paladin.
I wanted to go out of the water park. I wanted to go out. Yeah, water park works.
I probably would have said something about it. I don't know, like a mecha gnome druid. They could be like a little transformer.
Oh, yes, a gnome paladin and a mecha gnome druid. Those would be really good. Yeah. Oh. See, you're giving me the good answers now that I was overlooking the gnomes. I'm sorry, gnomes.
No, see, y'all think. Well, anyway. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Now we're going to ask a really serious question. Again, another controversial, hard-hitting question.
Okay.
Rumor has it that you have a problem with squirrels.
Oh, yep.
Could you expand on that, please?
So you know that squirrels, they're always scheming. And one time I was walking through Elwyn Forest, which is why I probably said Elwyn Forest at the time. And this squirrel, I don't know how, but I tripped. I hear a, and like, I look around and like all of a sudden you see this little flash of like brown fur just running up a tree. I'm like, I saw you, squirrel. I saw you. And yeah, they're always just scheming. And I mean, you have to admit, squirrels are nuts.
I'm face palming right now. You just can't see it. Okay, and then I want to talk about my partners in crime, specifically chocolate, but tell us a little bit about, there are a couple of interesting animals in your life, chocolate and buttermilk.
Yes. So years ago, we had two cats, Guinevere and Percival, and not Percival, but Percival. So that was a pun in our lives. Our family's full of puns. Sadly, as all animals do, animals pass on. Well, we then went around looking for some cute Himalayans to adopt, and we found two amazing ones. Buttermilk we actually found at a shelter. The moment that we found her, we just knew it was to be. And the whole car ride home, I kept telling her how she'd be a Twitch star. No, I didn't know. I didn't know about Twitch at that time, but yeah, we found Chocolate. The first time I ever saw Chocolate, he climbs up on my chest, starts licking my face, and was like, "This cat is different. This cat was raised around dogs, and I can call his name." In fact, he's probably at the door now because he heard his name. Ever since then, I've had this bond with Chocolate. Like, not a dog full loyalty, because there's times he'll be by himself, but there are times he really wants companionship. He wants to be around somebody. So he is the most dog-like cat I've ever had.
Chocolate's a real star, and Buttermilk is starting to get there.
It was during one of the streams that I brought Chocolate onto the stream because he just could not stop meowing, and he made it into the room. And since then, the stream chat just went crazy. I was like, what if I fed Chocolate a treat whenever people redeemed these Frazzle channel points that they added at the time? And since then, it has become, I think there's not too many streams where someone does not redeem a Chocolate channel point. The Chocolate's starting to become a place where he expects it. When I walk in there, he's like, "Am I getting a treat?" I'm like, "Not yet. I better get a treat soon. It's in my contract."
So since you hate talking to people, and since you hate the community of World of Warcraft and just people in general, why did you go into podcasting of all things?
So back in 2017, I joined Convert to Raid, and Pat Crane had a channel called Podcast Help. And there I went in there, saw people talk about podcasting. Then I saw this free guide called the Podcast Launchpad. I was like, I've always wanted to do podcasting because I used to do YouTube videos. I had a show called The Mr. Fluffles Show on YouTube with these stuffed animals that were like, "I'm Mr. Fluffles." I aided the fact, "I ate it. How you doing?" And like, I had a whole cast of characters on a variety show. I tried getting into podcasting for years, but I needed a topic to talk about. And I found out that I love WoW again, and I was really enjoying WoW. But I was like, one thing that some podcasts don't have is it doesn't feel like a conversation between people. It's sometimes the news, but what if you could take the voice chat qualities of Discord and hear friends talking back and forth about stuff? And I was like, I want to give a voice to people in the community that aren't on a podcast or aren't on a podcast all the time. I do bring podcasters on here because I want to know more about them, but I also like giving voice to people who aren't podcasters. And I know a few podcasters who have started because of FrazlCast, because I gave them the same courage by being on here. The same way that when Majors of Vaulting Azeroth brought me on for the All Warriors cast in 2017, and then Leader brought me on for Behind the Avatar, it gave me the courage to get behind the mic for podcasting. Once you start podcasting, you don't want to stop. You start buying mics. You start looking for every way that you can just like hone your craft. It's an addiction. Only get into it if you want to have a lot of fun.
How many microphones do you have?
The ATR 2100, the Blue Yeti, the Samsung
What,
QT.
the what? The Blue Yeti?
Yes.
What was that?
I
Was that a
started
Blue
on a
Yeti? Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Yeti.
I started on a Blue Yeti, and I think FrazlCast episode 1 sounded like this with a lot of echoing, so I did start on the Blue Yeti.
God, still the hate on the Blue Yeti.
You have to make it sound good.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, I don't ever plan to have them be a sponsor. I will throw that shade. But no, I know a lot of podcasters who sound good on Blue Yetis. It just, for me, it did not sound good in my room. I had echo. You could hear me when I moved stuff on the table. From the Blue Yeti, I went to an ATR 2100, and then I went to the Heil PR40, which I used for many years until I wanted just a sound that sounded better on my voice for me. And I went to the Shure SM7B, which is what you're hearing now. And I feel for me, it has been a good upgrade on the sound. I like the sound better. I can make it work better for my voice. But really, it all depends on your voice and how it sounds in your environment. If you can make it sound good. Biggest thing about podcasting, this turned into a PSA. Make it sound like you're talking to the person. If the audio sounds reverberated or tinny or anything that makes it where you start looking at the environment of who you're listening to. It no longer sounds like a conversation.
So FrazlCast has certainly changed over the years.
Very much so.
Episode 1 is nothing like the last episode.
And this is the first for me being interviewed on my own show. You totally surprised me at all. There was no at all pre-planning and pre-research because
I mean, how many hours were some of the early podcasts?
3 to 4 hours, and I did not edit those. Yeah, very long.
So then, how did the Frazly report come about?
I was messing around with podcasting, and I wanted like a solo show to kind of play around with. One that I could do like an audio drama. I initially had the idea, believe it or not, of making a daily show. I'm so glad I did not do that. Oh, and in the lore of the Frazly report, I'm broadcasting every single day. And I then have like the Frazly News Hour in the evening, every single evening in the lore. But yeah, I started that one because I wanted to try around audio dramas in the World of Warcraft. Like, what would be a news show in WoW? There are other ones there, so I was not trying to copy those, but trying to give my own spin. Now, the Frazly report has one thing is I try to make sure that it's fake. I will stretch the truth in the Frazly report just for fun, just try to see where I can go with it.
Yeah, if I don't laugh by the end of a Frazly report, there's something wrong. There's something really, really wrong.
And you may have noticed that I don't do the Frazly report every single week. In fact, it's been since April. I have moved to the more of the quality over quantity for that show because I don't want to force an episode if it's truly not, because I had some episodes of that show that I just was not as happy with as other episodes because I try to do it every single week. But now I write down ideas and when I'm like, okay, this idea is really good. That's when I will do it.
So I'm going to skip in chronological order here and go straight to the Awesome Gnome letter. Why that? And it's so amazing. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh, thank you. I don't have a lot of people who talk about the podcast of that. So I was hearing how newsletters and emails were a great way to do marketing for podcasts. So I started it, but I was like, I'm not going to do this if it's just me showing the latest thing. I'm going to kind of turn it into a little inspirational text. And I started doing that in email form for quite a while, back when I started Weekly Awesome, which was the podcast network that I made for quite a while. And I would have the Awesome Gnome letter in the newsletter. Then when I was given the opportunity to join Dragon Powered Studio, I worked with them and kind of merged Weekly Awesome with Dragon Powered Studio and brought over a lot of my awesome friends from Weekly Awesome. And when it came time to do a newsletter, I was like, we need to add the Awesome Gnome letter. And I asked Amanda if she was fine with that. And it's now become a thing where I was like, I'm going to start a podcast version of this as well. Because there I can mess with short form reading and narration. It's kind of like a WoW-centric, creative-centric version of Be Great Today.
How did you become a part of Dragon Power Studios and their awesome community? Oh no, I just said community. Do I have to take a drink?
Yep, you got to take a drink, because if you're making me take a drink, because I'm taking a drink every time I say community. Oh, you get to take 3 drinks now, because you technically said it as well.
Oh no.
Years ago, I started to know Tom and Amanda through Twitter. And I actually was listening to the Blue Recluse as one of my first podcasts. And I kind of forgot in the first answer, the Blue Recluse is actually why I started FrazlCast. After hearing about podcasting, I had this idea. One day, the Blue Recluse was like, hey, we're starting a new project. The Blue Recluse presents, and they had a picture of a blank Google Doc. And I jokingly said, FrazlCast. And that's where the name brainstorming from this podcast began and ended. Over time, I started working with the Blue Recluse, like just talking over Twitter and different things. And one day, Amanda came to me and said, hey, would you like to be a part of Dragon Power Studio? And once I was getting off the ceiling out of just amazement and honor to be part of the team, I accepted my role and been trying to find my unique skills I bring to DPS. Because everybody on the team brings different things that we're good at. And we're all trying to build a community of different podcasters.
Thank you, Amanda. We truly appreciate your efforts. And you're also a killer Among Us player.
Yes. Oh, the times I've gotten killed by Amanda and Among Us. Yes, because I'm a bad Among Us player. When I played that game, only one time did I technically win because no one found out I was the imposter, but we still lost as the imposter.
How is that possible? They always think you're the imposter.
I played it more safe this one time where I tried to move around where nobody knew that I was the imposter, and they ended up finishing all their tasks before I could finally kill everybody. So no one suspected me. Well, no, I think Pete and Michael both said that they suspected me, but did not have enough evidence to convict me.
Pete's an investigator.
I know. He's good at his job.
Even if I didn't do the crime, if he walks into the interrogation room, I'm just going to confess. I'm just done.
I did it. I put the screw in the tuna. I put the screw in the tuna. It was me. If nobody gets that, that's from Kenan and Kel. I think that's like one of their first episodes.
Anyway. It's been kind of a short-lived little thing, and it's, gets thrown out here and there whenever somebody asks a question. But how did the amazing Dear Frazly come into being? What is the tagline for Dear Frazly, by the way?
Your 2 copper newspaper advice column. None of this advice is licensed or certified by any institution or organization. So, Dear Frazly, I got a friend who was asking me a question, and I don't know if that friend wants me to say it was them or not.
Oh, God. Please don't.
Okay.
It was me. It was me.
So you sent me a question and you wanted it kind of like in an anonymous way. And you just said, I want a podcast where Frazly answers a question, kind of like an advice column. I was like, you did not expect that within 30 minutes, I would put together a whole podcast and submission way. And if anybody wants to submit to the Frazly Report, send your question to dear@frazly.com or tweet with the hashtag DearFrazly. I only put out episodes when people send in questions because I don't want to make it fake where I'm making the questions up. But if you have questions, send them on over to Dear Frazly.
No matter how ridiculous the question is.
Exactly.
He will answer the question.
And they may even influence my Halloween costumes because one was about my favorite Powerpuff Girl. It was Bubbles, and actually I wore a Bubbles Powerpuff Girl costume for Halloween last year.
True facts. And he's absolutely right. The idea was presented, and literally within a half an hour, everything was produced. The intro was done, the music was done, everything was completely done with this little bit of a podcast thing. I mean, it was crazy. But now, one of my all-time favorites. What made you decide that you needed, not wanted, well, you probably wanted to too, but we needed Be Great Today. And that's how I say, I don't say be great today. I say be great today. Everybody has this great thought about, oh, I'll be good today. I'll be good tomorrow, or I'll do something great tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. We have to be great today.
Yes.
And that's what I love about this. Please tell me what made you start this one.
I was on a walk on my normal trail, which you've actually figured out the exact street that I walk on. And I was walking the street. I was like, what if I did a thing where I was talking to people, kind of like a little chat? And obviously the issue with doing that is wind noise when you're outside. It's really hard and like you're trying to walk around. But I proposed to Twitter, said, hey, do you want me to do like a weekly inspirational podcast? And I got a lot of good responses on it. So it started as a podcast where I was like, I want to do something where I talk about what issues I'm working on in my life, trying to work through. And in fact, a teaser for people that are live and people that are on the download will already have heard this. I'm doing an upcoming episode on jealousy. Kind of like I've struggled with jealousy recently. I'm like, if I'm struggling with this, maybe other people are struggling with it too. So it's kind of a way, I'd say cathartic is a good way to say it. It helps me put my thoughts into words and work on ways to work through it.
Speaking of working through it, it looks to me like you are also involved in several collaborations.
Yes.
How did you get involved in something called the Miscellaneous Podcast?
So years ago, I reached out to Pauly back when Pauly was on the Summoning Stone and started talking with him. I was invited onto the Summoning Stone, and Pauly and I kind of hit it off there. And then Pauly said, hey, I do this podcast. It's the Miscellaneous Podcast with the title that says it all. He invited me to an episode on that recorded on Tuesday in the afternoon. And since then, I've just been a part of it. It's definitely not your average podcast. It's fun. It's amazing. I'm just saying that like it can get vulgar at times, but I've enjoyed being there because it's almost like your, maybe morning zoo is the right word to say. It's like your morning zoo.
That's a good way of, yeah, it is.
And what's been cool is we've been watching movies recently, and like I watched Labyrinth recently again, so not my first time watching Labyrinth. Then I'm watching Reservoir Dogs because we're reviewing that on the next episode. So I've been enjoying the Miscellaneous Podcast because it's fun being on a show where I don't have to edit it and I can just kind of hang out and talk with the people. Pauly does the editing, and that's been a lot of fun. I'm part of the crew there, but thankfully Pauly handles all that. I'm at the place where I don't think I want to add on too many more podcasts because between the podcast and streams, it can get a little frazzled in my head some days.
Yeah, and we're not even done with the list. But you said that this is not your first time watching Labyrinth. How many times have you watched Labyrinth?
Quite a few times. Like, I used to catch it on TV because back before you had like on-demand video, yes, there is a time where you could not pick up any movie on any device at any time. You had to watch it on the TV. I would typically see like a scene here or there. And then one evening, the Disney Channel was like, hey, we'll be playing Labyrinth. So I watched it the whole way through, and I was just enthralled with the universe. Between David Bowie, between Jim Henson, the Muppets, the whole Labyrinth world. It's not a perfect movie. Like, the ending, in my opinion, goes too fast. It needed a little bit more meat there, but it's really good. And it's one of the movies that I can watch, not again and again and again, because there's so many movies out there, but I can definitely keep watching. And there's some actually interesting lessons in there, except I still don't understand why there was the little worm in that one scene. Maybe that's what leading people the wrong way. Cause like, oh, don't go that way. If you had gone that way, you would have gone straight to the castle.
You just took my line. I was going to say that.
We were thinking on the same wavelength.
I mean, if he would have directed her in that direction, the movie would have been much shorter.
Yeah, and we would have missed some great scenes and all that.
It's just like in The Wizard of Oz. If Glinda would have just told Dorothy to lick her heels 3 times, we could have saved so much Technicolor. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So then you got involved in something called Stories Around Azeroth.
Yeah. So Pete, who I would talk with quite a bit in the Dragonheart Studio Discord, and even back when it was also the Blue Recluse Discord, Pete and I got talking one day, and Pete invited me on the podcast. Again, I wanted to try being a co-host because I've been the host, but it's fun being a co-host. And again, on the show, I don't have to edit it. We started it May of 19. So it's still relatively new in its history, or it's a year old. It's been a lot of fun. And we focus that show more around stories in Azeroth. Like, we will discuss news as long as it's a discussion point, but we're not a news podcast. And we're working to bring people on to the show to get their feedback as well. I have to say, it's fun being on the show to have guests on it, because then if I can't slot somebody into a guest slot on FrazlCast for quite a bit, because I've got a short list of guests I want to bring on. Like, Potty Chicken's one I'm going to be bringing on to FrazlCast in the future. But my short list is definitely not short. And I've got people scheduled now through October. So I've got a long ways to go. But it's fun being able to slot people into other shows if I can't get them on FrazlCast in the immediate future.
From now until October 2025.
Exactly. Because I had it up to BlizzCon. And now that we know BlizzCon's not happening this year, I can now schedule up till the next E3.
How did you get involved in the Converted?
So I had been a part of the Convert to Raid as a member for quite a while.
What is Convert to Raid?
The Convert to Raid podcast was started by, I believe it was Coltrane, Pat. I'm going to forget somebody else on there because I did not listen to him when it first came out. The Convert to Raid podcast started a guild, I believe around Mist of Pandaria somewhere. It has just ballooned to a huge guild of like 10 sub guilds and all these different people. I joined Convert to Raid after seeing my friend Silverbolt join Convert to Raid. So then at BlizzCon, I got to meet Bartholomew and Sal and Silverbolt. And then when Turarch was leaving the show, in my own like joking way, said, "Hey, if you ever need a gnome for the show, I'm your gnome." And they're like, "Are you serious?" So since then, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm like working on like grooving with them more, and we've had a lot of fun. It's been fun being part of a guild that has meant so much to me. And now I'm able to be part of it in a bigger way. So I'm now part of it every other Monday. And I've definitely enjoyed being able to meet other people and Convert to Raid and the stories that we share and all that.
I like the dynamic between everybody.
Yeah.
They all bring something different to it. It's great.
Again, I love not having to edit the show. So thank you, Sal, for editing the show.
So since you brought up BlizzCon, why don't you tell the epic story of how Frasley Sparkspan got to go to his first BlizzCon ever?
The beginning of October, Christy Golden put out a thing saying, hey, that she had an extra ticket and was asking for people in the community, asking people to propose people in the community to go. So my great friend Tosh Mifune put out my name there, and I was like, because they get all the process, like the money and all that to go there. Then as soon as you did that, the community just did an amazing. Oh, that was 3 community. Are you drinking?
I just drank the whole glass.
The community went crazy and just like all were proposing me. And I really do appreciate that. That meant a lot. I was going through a weird state mentally. Like creatives have a lot of times where we have down moments, and that was a down moment, but that boosted me up. And then Crushinator of Crush's Cavern said that he had an extra ticket, and he actually gave me his ticket so that way Christy could then put that to another person in the community. And going to BlizzCon changed my perspective on the game, on the community. And since then, I have literally been on fire. Well, I shouldn't say literally. I've been figuratively on fire for WoW, for Blizzard. And when I say Blizzard, I want to preface it that it's not Blizzard, the company, which has done good things. And as any corporation, they've also messed up in different areas. But Blizzard, the community. And I have just loved the people I got to meet there. And I want to meet more people, which is why I'm sad that it's not happening this year. But I'm excited to go in 2021 or 2025, whenever we're allowed to congregate again safely.
Were people surprised at how tall you really are?
Oh, yes. Yes. The phrase multiple people told me is I'm the tallest gnome in Azeroth. So I'm still the awesome gnome, but I now proudly say the tallest gnome in Azeroth many, many times. Oh, and Hottie Chicken's planning for 2021. So yes, we get to meet Hottie Chicken of the chicken coop.
Oh, people are going to crowd around Hottie Chicken. She's not going to be able to get inside the entryway.
Oh,
she wouldn't even be able to check in. People just be, oh my gosh, it's Hottie Chicken.
Because like I saw Talius and Nevintel at their booth, and I was like, there was no way I was going to be able to make up there. And I got a tweet later on that they wanted to meet me. Was like, oh, I felt bad because I loved the community's outpouring for them, and especially their live show that's happening because they do an amazing job. I'm like, I don't know how they do it. All the videos, all the streams, all the battling the Twitter trolls. They are one of the hardest working couples. But yeah, I loved BlizzCon, and again, it really did change me. And it proved something that Ro told me when I got to meet Ro in September of 2018. We got to meet at a Big Boys. By the way, Big Boys has some, well, I shouldn't say good food, but it's good prices for food. But he told me that the focus of FrazlCast in his mind was the community. And since then, I have made the community a big focus of what the show is, and that it's not about me, but it's about the people that I bring on. It's about introducing people to new podcasters, new streamers, new content artists. And that's why my list grows every single week, it feels like, of adding new people. I want to bring you on. I want to bring you on. I find this is a time that I get about an hour with each person to ask them questions and get to know them better. And I have found so many friends after talking with them on this show.
So why did you start playing games and streaming on Twitch? Like at first when you started streaming on Twitch, it was kind of few and far between, and now it's a pretty regular thing.
So I, for the longest time, would like mess around with streaming. In fact, in 2015, I actually streamed like The Last of Us and Until Dawn back on this same Twitch channel years ago under it was a different name at the time. Since I started like podcasting, I kept messing around with streaming for a while because it was always fun. Like I did the Lucid Nightmare on stream, and it was fun hearing people's feedback. I farmed for the Bloodstone reputation on stream, and that was a lot of fun. And then when I finally got this streaming PC, I found out that, whoa, I could stream, not have the stream be a laggy mess. I always loved being on the couch with a friend or my family because I actually got into gaming because my sisters would play The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Super Mario World, and even like the Super Mario Brothers. And I loved watching while they played. So streaming is the best way to have sisters and brothers, like a lot of people that watch, I feel like our family. Raz, you're family to me, and I definitely appreciate that. And that's why I started streaming, because it's no fun if you have something cool happen or something bad happen and no one's there to watch. No one's there to laugh at you. No one's there to help you cry when your iron dies and stuff like that. So it's definitely why I started streaming, and I cannot stop streaming, because you definitely have to add limits to your streaming on what works best for you. But I basically stream every day now because it's a lot of fun.
I like that someone could listen to this episode that has started streaming recently and is being told, hey, your stream is a laggy mess, that it can grow. And you can make changes to your stream to fix that. And there are people in the, community that can help you fix that stuff so that your streams look just as great as everybody else's streams out there.
And don't stop because you don't have the setup. Don't stop because it lags. Don't stop because you run into bitrate issues. Keep at it. Hey, I was watching, there is this one streamer, I Am Brandon, who now just got verified on Twitter and their Twitch has grown. They spent one of their streams with like thousands and thousands of people watching, fixing a technical issue. If I Am Brandon, a partnered streamer, can have technical issues, everybody can have technical issues. Don't let that stop you. And I Am Brandon, way to go, by the way. I don't know if you're listening, but way to go.
Okay, so I know one of the things that you have really embraced on your Twitch streams are Amazon Prime watch parties.
Yes. Oh, yes. So that started probably the end of February, maybe the beginning of March, when we entered the times and stuff like that. I delete that out because there are certain like players that don't like hearing the word that I just said. But we entered these times where we should be all quarantining, unless you're protesting. If you're protesting, still be safe. But I support all of you who are protesting. I started doing the watch parties. One, I've never watched Star Trek all the way through. I wanted to start watching it again, and I saw that it was on Amazon Prime, and it was part of their initial launch, and now they have almost every Star Trek there. So I started watching there, and it's fun because you may get a stream where nobody's saying anything, but someone's watching. But it's also cool, like when you're watching, someone will be like, hey, look at that tidbit, or I have the reaction. So I've definitely been enjoying watching stuff together. And as time allows even more, I'm going to definitely be doing even more watch parties. It's a fun way to like end a genome project with like, right now I'm going to the Carol Burnett show, and Carol Burnett, great comedian. And like, so someone we should all look up to. Both loves everybody, but also just makes you laugh so much. And really quick on the improv, I have to say that was, because there are scenes, that things don't go the right way in the improv, and she rolls with it.
There's so much trust in that tight-knit group.
Yeah.
Her core people, they know exactly what to do, and they just go with it. And sometimes when they crack up, makes it even better.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, we're just going to go with it. 'Cause I remember when she had Jim Neighbors on and something was not going according to plan, but they went with it.
Well, you mentioned Star Trek, and you seem to like those episodes so much that you make some segments for This Week in Trek?
Yes.
Did I read that right?
You absolutely read that right. This Week in Trek was started by Michael Gaines and Kara. A great friend proposed that I should start a podcast, but I don't know enough about Star Trek to start a podcast. I also still don't know enough about WoW that I should be podcasting, but I still do it anyway. But I didn't want to do it. And plus, they do an amazing job in This Week in Trek. So I talked with Kara and Mike or Michael, because you star Mike. Hopefully by calling him Mike, I'm not offending him. But I went to them through a conversation. We came up with an idea on a segment where I will take these witty remarks I do on every episode after watching it and then condense them into a segment called My Morning Trek. And that has been a lot of fun. It's been cool being on a podcast, again, that I don't want to edit except my segment part, but I'm then able to share my experience as a Star Trek virgin. Well, I've been through Star Trek a lot, but never watched it a lot. But it's been cool showing my experience as I'm going through the whole series.
So one could say that you're seeking out new adventures to boldly go where no gnome has gone before?
Absolutely. You know me too well.
Speaking of streaming and doing a little bit of variety, tell us a little bit about the great comedy duo of Spaz and Fraz.
So a while back, Spaz, I forget how the conversation started, but like I got to know Spaz, and I've listened to Spaz on Reigns of Azeroth. So to me, Spaz was a celebrity. I mean, he still is, but it was a celebrity that I didn't think I could ever really talk with. And then he started listening to the FrazlCast and we started interacting. And then at some point we started thinking like, hey, what if we both streamed and like played a co-op game together? And the only times that seems to work for us reliably is Fridays and Saturdays, or his Saturdays and his Sundays. And we do that every week, and we do different co-op games. Like we've done Portal 2 co-op, we did Raft, we did Overcooked 2, right now we're doing Minecraft Dungeons. And it's been a fun way where I've been able to become great friends with him as well. In fact, I say best friends as well. It's a lot of fun. He gets me out of games that I never would try. Like he got me into Elite Dangerous. I need to get a flight stick so I don't keep running into the walls of ships and stuff like that. That's definitely a lot of fun to do every week. And it is fun playing with somebody else when you're streaming. Because like there are times when we play Farming Simulator and there's a bridge in Farming Simulator that I would typically get stuck on or move my trailer down a waterfall. And he's like, Fraz, what happened? Oh, nothing. I'm stuck here. He's like, oh. I'm trying to remember. Is it Pete who says God damn it a lot, or is it him?
They both say a bunch of words.
About me, of course.
Okay, so we finally come to the final little bit that I've got here, and we're going to be bringing back some of Lita's favorite questions from behind the avatar. These are her favorite quick questions. Let's see if they stay the same. Okay, what is your favorite color?
Red.
Aren't you more of an Alliance player?
I am, but I love the color red. It's weird that I love red and I play Alliance. Though, fun fact, I mained a Horde at the beginning of Legion, an Orc mage that I liked, but I don't love the Horde cities because they're just like, I like the Alliance cities better. And plus, back then, Orcs had bad posture. And back when I was doing ballroom dancing, there was a lot of focus on my posture, and I hated that they didn't have good posture at the time. Now, if they have good posture, who knows? This could have been like the Tukulterum cast, because that was the name of my Orc mage, was Tukulterum. I'm glad that I'm Frazzling now.
What is your favorite food?
Oh, I still would have to say sweet potatoes, because I like that they are more complex carb, and Thanksgiving and Christmas, having sweet potatoes with a little bit of marshmallow is so good. And actually, there's a place around here I found during the times that has this sweet potato hash. So instead of like quinoa and potatoes, you can have sweet potatoes in them, and it's so good.
Okay, that's a match, obviously. Favorite movie?
Oh, favorite movie? Still has to be Toy Story.
What did you go back and check all these answers?
Toy Story has always been one of my favorite movies. So, fun fact, Lion King, when it came out, I was 5. I know that probably just made somebody go, oh, wow, what a youngin'. I apparently could recite every word of every dialogue and every piece of music, and I drove my sisters and parents nuts because I was on vacation. We went right after Lion King. I could not stop reciting Lion King.
What is your favorite sports team?
Oh, that would absolutely have to be the Columbus Blue Jackets. I've been to many games with them. And being behind the glass when the hockey players are fighting is amazing. I don't love violence, but I don't mind a little fight during hockey.
Okay, your favorite book?
Up until an author was a complete asshole, I would have said Harry Potter.
Do you still have your Gryffindor scarf?
Right here.
Oh my gosh, you really do have a Gryffindor scarf.
Yep. And in fact, this is my second Gryffindor scarf because my mom knitted me one of Gryffindor colors. And then when that one frayed away, we got at the parks. But now I would say my favorite books, and even more so because of the fact that Disney is doing a new version of this for Disney Plus, would be Percy Jackson. And any Rick Riordan stuff, because I like that it teaches you Greek mythology, and in his Egypt series, Egyptian mythology. So I really enjoyed that. And one thing that's really cool, the demigods in Percy Jackson have ADHD and dyslexia. I don't think I have dyslexia, but I definitely have ADHD. And Rick Riordan turned that from being a weakness into a strength. Both of those, ADHD and dyslexia, has turned into a strength. And I love that focus on, not on what do you have that makes you different or weak, but what makes you strong because of those.
That's like a be great today mixed in with, anyway, okay. That's awesome. Awesome. What is your favorite drink?
Oh, definitely coffee.
Still?
Yep. And I used to drink a lot of coffee, but during the times I have now gone down to only like 2 12-ounce cups of coffee. I used to drink a way more, and got to the place where my doctor was like, Frazly. Yes, she calls me by my WoW name, of course. And she's like, Frazly, you might need to cut back on your coffee because there's some medical stuff we're learning about coffee in extreme cases, but mind you, I don't do anything half-butted. I do everything full-butted, and I would drink a lot of coffee. So, and I'm also a little high-strung, and I can have struggles with high blood pressure. So, borderline. I've not been diagnosed yet with high blood pressure, but I've been cutting back my coffee now during these times. So still coffee.
So only 2 12-ounce cups of coffee?
Yep.
Your nose is growing. Okay. What would you say is, well, for her, the question is, what is your favorite song?
It's a song by Zach Williams called Fear is a Liar. Fear is personified, but has a content creator, and even just in real life, fear is something that I think a lot of us struggle with. Like some lines is like, he tells you that you're not good enough. That has really been resonating with me quite a bit.
Well, that answers your version of the question of what song of the moment really reaches out and touches you. Because I'm assuming that's going to be the same answer.
Actually, at the moment, a song by Mandisa and featuring Toby Mac is "We All Bleed the Same Colors," and like lines are like, "We are more beautiful when we come together. Why are we divided?" And that has been a song that has been in my heart and my head recently. I shared this on Twitter 2 years ago. My sister donated a kidney to a great friend. My friend is not of the same skin color as us, but the insides of the body work the exact same way. I've had that in my head ever since.
So beautiful. What is your favorite TV show?
Oh, favorite TV show would still have to be Rugrats.
Which is your favorite character in Rugrats?
Oh, would it surprise you if I admire Tommy Pickles, but I know I am a Chucky Finster?
Okay, that makes sense.
And I did not know till I started watching Doctor Who that Tommy Pickles was the doctor with the screwdriver.
What is your favorite? What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, definitely chocolate. I'm tempted for other stuff, but if it's chocolate, oh, absolutely. Like this week, we have a drive-in place near us called Svenson's, and I've been good. I've been getting a chili and an egg salad sandwich, but I've also been getting a hot fudge milkshake. I'm trying to cut back on all my food. I'm trying to eat well, but a chocolate hot fudge milkshake is so good.
And that's chocolate, like chocolate bar chocolate, not chocolate cat.
How dare you? How dare you? No,
we're not going Alf here.
No, we're not Alf. Which also is a great show, by the way.
Who is your favorite author?
I still would say C.S. Lewis. I remember this from Behind the Avatar. C.S. Lewis really makes you think. Makes you think about like a lot of different things. And it's one that even if you aren't Christian, he makes you think about life in a lot of ways. Because he and J.R.R. Tolkien were contemporaries and would talk a lot. And I like books like that make you think a lot. That you don't have to agree with the author on ideology or belief, but if it makes you think, it really does something different.
Now, one of the questions she didn't ask you, but she has asked other people, of the books that author has created, which is your favorite book?
Oh, I would definitely say The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. The Awful Kid. Is it Eustace?
The Awful Kid. You mean the one that puts Skittles on eggs?
Yeah, Skittles on eggs. I like Eustace because Eustace starts out as a rat, but turns around in the story. The book, not the adaptation of the movie that was good, but not great because they did some weird stuff with it. But it really does show how we may grow up entitled or we may grow up with a bad attitude, but every one of us, if we're willing and we put the effort in, we can change. And also, Voyage of the Dawn Treader has one of the best lines I love. Lucy goes into the ship and she reads a book and reads a spell to hear what her friends are saying about her. And that's when Aslan says, listen, your friends may say things about you behind your back that they don't always mean, but it's better to not worry about what they are thinking about you. In a way, what do you think about yourself? And I think forgive your friends if they say things about you behind your back. So there's a lot of good stuff. And the Chronicles of Narnia series is just a really good series. I have yet to finish some of the last few books. I admit it. I still need to read some of the, but I have loved the beginning. I need to read like The Silver Chair and The Last Battle.
That's a really cool thing about books. There's always something to read. There's always, and just everything creative. There's always a book to read. There's always a movie to watch. There's always a TV show that you haven't seen yet.
Exactly.
Even if we're living in these times.
Yes. And actually now we have even more time in these times to read more books.
What is your favorite real world event? Basically your favorite holiday, so to speak.
It has to be Christmas and the holiday season, because what time of year does the world change to observe different observations of that time of the year? But everyone tends to be in a better mood or trying to be better at that time of year. I know sometimes we may stop afterwards, but it is nice having a reminder that we should try to be good. We should try to think about other people. We should be kind, be generous, and not be about ourselves. And of course, Christmas in that time is not always perfect. Like I know a lot of people who struggle with family around that time. So Hallmark, one bad thing about Hallmark is it can make it be like, oh, it's a Hallmark moment. We're going to kiss. And then it's going to start raining and snowing behind us. And then like the choir is going to start singing from the barn doors that open up right at that moment. There's a Hallmark movie where this happens. It's not rain, but snow. I'm sorry, Raz. I just probably made you mad because you love Hallmark.
I am a sucker for the Christmas movies. Well, it's not just the Christmas movies, all those movies. They're all the same story, basically. But I get sucked into them it's ridiculous. Okay.
You and my mom both. You and my mom need to sit down, do a podcast where you talk about Hallmark movies. It needs to happen.
What other hobbies do you have?
I used to have ballroom dancing, and I gave that up for streaming and podcasting because both the money and the time for it. But another hobby that I do have is trying to do fitness. I mean, like trying to go on walks, because that of itself takes time and energy to do. And I do try to stay active. I'm not always able to do it, but it is nice going on a walk and listening to podcasts and stuff like that, because that's actually the thing I listen to a lot while I'm out on walks. Because
we all know that you hate coffee from your previous answer. What is your favorite coffee drink?
It definitely would have to be a black coffee with, when I went to Starbucks, it would be Toffee Nut, but a black coffee with Splenda. And I have to say, McDonald's does a good job with their K-Cups.
This is going back into WoW. What would be your favorite companion battle pet? And you know this is a question from Lita for sure, because she's the pet master, I swear.
I would have to say now it would have to be Dottie, because who loves the little, like when it's happy, it just like bounces up and you're like the bing, 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 bing. And of course, anybody who's seen me get Dottie out on stream knows that I named my Dottie Parton after one of the amazing singers. And if you have not heard about what Dolly Parton does for their charitable giving, you've got to look up the history. I mean, from like the Reading Railroad, she does a thing where like kids up until they are a certain age get a free book. I think every month, every year. But I mean, she really is focused on her community.
Because it's all about the fans. It's all about the community.
As an artist, the community is what makes you. I mean, even for what I do, the community is what supports me and lifts me up. I mean, seeing people like Dragons After Dark and chat, who I got to meet at BlizzCon, it energizes you. It's so much fun. And by the way, Dragons After Dark, they do the Zufu pet guides. You've got to go check this out. Those are really cool. I got to hear Dragons After Dark and Stone talk for, I think, about 15 to 30 minutes about battle pets. That was so cool. Like going back and forth and all that.
So, have you watched any good TV shows lately?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I have been watching Space Force, in fact.
Never heard of it.
Oh, you've never heard about it? Well, it just came out. And in fact, if you haven't heard, they have been struggling with the trademark at the government agency, because Netflix has actually done such a good job that people are thinking about the Netflix series versus the government agency. And I also finished the entire series of The Good Place. It was so good that I could not stop watching. And I got to the end of season 3, and I had to go on Amazon and buy season 4. I finished the whole series. And The Good Place is about redemption, about change. It's a series that you have to start, and then you won't want to stop. I mean, all the different people in there are so much fun and like, I'm glad for story-wise that they stopped at season 4. I think it would have been hard to keep going, but you also miss those characters.
Always a good sign.
Yeah.
Stop while you're ahead.
Absolutely. Except if you're doing a podcast about World of Warcraft, then please keep posting. I saw a sad tweet from Ro that he had to unfollow a lot of people to clear up his followers list, because I mean, there's a point where Twitter actually doesn't let you follow any more people. So you have to unfollow people, and he had unfollows and podcasts that are no longer with us. And it's sad when a podcast either loses its steam or something.
Have you played any different games other than WoW lately?
Yes. So I've been delving back into The Witcher 3 and really been enjoying my time going through there. Witcher 3 has some interesting mechanics that would be a lot of fun in WoW. Like on like some enemies, you have to like use like different potions, or you have to use a different sword. Like for monsters and like ghosts, you have to use a silver sword, but for like humanoids, you have to use a steel sword. There's a lot of exploration, because you may walk into an area, but you're not high enough level to go after it. So you walk around, you find like some areas to level up, get experience. And by the time you're like, oh, wow, I'm already at this level. There are definitely a few moments that I had somebody in The Witcher 3 was like, one of the characters was like, hey, Balchika wow. I was like, Balchika no. And then I've been playing Minecraft Dungeons with Spaz on Spaz and Fraz. And that game is a lot of fun. It is not as advanced as Diablo 3, but it has its own unique charm. Because one, Minecraft has a unique world. It looks gorgeous because it's in the Unreal Engine. I've just been enjoying playing with them. I don't know if I would play Minecraft Dungeons by myself, but it's fun playing with somebody else. Diablo, I could play by myself, because that has a lot of depth and stuff like that. And I'm actually going to go and play more Diablo, because I've never beat Diablo and I need to. Minecraft Dungeons, if you have kids and you want to play with your kids, definitely get Minecraft Dungeons. And I've heard temporarily it's actually surpassed Animal Crossing on the eShop. Animal Crossing is way more popular, but it's cool to see that people are enjoying Minecraft Dungeons. Not everyone likes it because it's shallow at that areas, but still, it's fun. And if you're able to stop a creeper before it explodes on you, that feels so good.
What have you been doing in WoW lately?
I've been doing a lot of going back, working on different achievements. One that I have had in my list, I was going to get in 2019, but never got it, is Lore Master. So I'm just have 3 more zones left to do. I need Townlong Steppes, Karasong Forest, and the Dread Waste. So it's almost like I have them in front of me on show notes. And right now I'm working on the Dread Waste, and I'm enjoying going back. I want to finally have Lore Master because then it'll feel really good. And like I'm also working on Mountain Runs, which is why I got Onyxius Drake. I got the Infinite Time Reaver by accident because I was also doing my other fun thing that I love doing is leveling. Either Iron Tunes or even just alts. I love leveling on stream because it's an activity that you know how to do it. You either do dungeon or questing. Well, questing if you are Iron, but dungeon and questing if you're doing other stuff. And I've definitely been enjoying working on that. I did realize at some point I'm going to have to purge more alts.
Stop!
I know, I don't want to purge alts. I don't want to purge alts. Blizzard, let us buy more character slots.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Do you think we're going to come across our resting Iron Man tunes in the Shadowlands?
Absolutely. Blizzard has data on characters that you deleted. I bet there's some Blizzard employee out there who's going to bring back every alt that we've ever deleted. They may say they don't have that data somewhere. I know Blizzard's always watching, Mike Wazowski. Always watching.
It'll be really interesting to see Zortz meet all of his tunes.
Oh, yes. At least one did not die to a lich, because I remember he talked about on the streaming episode, which if you want more advice on streaming, check 2 episodes back. There's an amazing episode 3 episodes back. 2 episodes back was still a streaming episode, but 3 episodes back with an AMA. See, there's so many FrazlCast episodes that I sometimes forget was on a FrazlCast episode after it's on the podcast, and I've stopped doing my marketing for it because it's just all in the archives. There's so many things out there, and the Gnome Train never stops.
Until now. So, is there anything else that you want people to know about you?
Just that I'm 6'6". I like making people facepalm, which is why my emote on Twitch is the facepalm, and it gets used quite a lot because I do puns. And my dad's always about good puns and good jokes. I never learned that habit from him, so I do the very bad puns that make you groan.
So where can people find you on the interwebs?
They can find me on Twitter at FrazlCastic. I will do a lot of retweeting things that I know, but also I will put out images of Skittles on omelets, which that got so much traction. I will post pictures of chocolate when he's just lying there and looks so cute. You can find me on my podcast, FrazlCast. I don't know if you've ever heard about FrazlCast, but you can find it at gnomepodcast.com. And then if you want to see me on Twitch, you can find me at gnome.live, where you will see a bunch of shenanigans. You can make me eat sour pickleballs and hot peppers and stuff like that, and just hang out as we are playing WoW, having a fun time. Cap brings up a cool thing. I would love if they have the Eternal Optimist as a new WoW title. And Cap saying that FrazlCast is not as good as RazlCast. So I think, Raz, you've got to now start a podcast. So I will let you start doing the show from now on, and I'll let you edit it. Or are you going to make me edit this one?
Yeah, you're editing this one.
Ah, phooey!
Or we could always have Chocolate do it, I suppose.
Nah, Chocolate likes to sleep and stuff like that. He'll just stare at me with his resting smirk face.
Well, I just want to thank you for your time coming on here to the first and probably only RazlCast. I want to take the time to thank Epic Insanity for his contribution, Lita for allowing me to use her questions, obviously you for your time. I just want to take a quick moment to, I'm going to use the word, thank the community. I have been going through some interesting, trying times myself during this bleep time, and every time I've brought up my Twitter, there has always been at least something that has always made me laugh at least once every single day. And this community has helped me get through a lot of stuff, and I truly, truly appreciate it.
The community is why I've been able to get through this time as well. And I've had a few dark moments in the past couple of years, and the community has been there to help me and encourage me. And I think most of my WoW friends seem to be closer than even friends in real life or even family at times. It's weird, but it's true. I think geeks understand it even better sometimes than our friends or family. Geeks understand that we are all come from different walks of life, different genders, different orientations, but we all come together. We tend to be more open-minded, and we tend to understand better perspectives. And the ones that we don't, block. I've been blocking people on Twitter sometimes. I'm sorry. If you're an asshole, blocked.
Activating customized orchestrated transporter.
Well, I am back at home of Ironforge until we one day reclaim Nomergon.
I'm a gnome.
Let's look at what has been happening in the community.
Awesome. Let's do that. So the runs for the Uncrafted Voidwing are happening right now. Follow at Friendship Mount on Twitter to find out where runs happen. My friend Cardfreck got one through one of these runs, and they're all raising money for various charities. So get your AOTC before the Uncrafted Voidwing takes flight with the Shadowlands pre-patch. Last month, Perky Pugs raised $31,499.57 for the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and this month they are working with Will Whiteford Achievements to raise money for the Trevor Project. They've already raised over $1,000 as of the writing of these show notes. And the Running of the Trolls returns for its 6th annual year to benefit the Trevor Project on June 27th. On June 27th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. GMT. I've got a link in the show notes to where you can donate. Spaz and I will be running it as part of the Spaz and Fraz for that Saturday. And Wildhead reports that Activision Blizzard has pledged $4 million to fight against systemic inequality by donating to the United Negro College Fund, the Equal Justice Initiative, and Management Leadership for Tomorrow. And Pete of Stories on Azeroth and the British Andy are back again for the Race for Good 2020. They're going to be raising money for special effect by playing Sonic games. The event is Friday, June 19th and Saturday, June 20th at 8 a.m. British Standard Time, 12 a.m. Pacific, and 3 a.m. Eastern. And Zoo has put together their Bronze List. It's a catalog of World of Warcraft content creators, ranging from artwork to blogs, collection sites, cosplayers, events, podcasts, resources, streams, and more coming soon. And I am honored to be the face of the podcasters list. MMO Champion report on Blizzard's announcement of the WoW Classic Summer Bowl. It is a 10 vs 10 Warsong Gold tournament beginning on June 17th. Over the following 3 weekends, teams in North America and Europe will compete for a separate prize pool of $4,000 in each region. The tournament will be split between 2 regions, North America and Europe. All games will take place on live servers for WoW Classic using the recently added Wargame feature. Teams of 10 players will sign up for the region. Signups are open to eligible players with a level 60 character on live servers for WoW Classic. The tournament will be split into 2 stages for each region, qualifiers and finals. The qualifiers are open signups, and the finals will feature the top 6 teams for the region. Teams will battle against each other on live servers using the Wargame feature, allowing players to queue up on battlegrounds against teams in their region. And for the top 6 teams in North America and Europe, there will be a total of $4,000 on offer in separate pricing for each region and bragging rights of winning the WoW Classic Summer Bowl. And do you want to join another competitive scene in WoW Classic? Well, WoW has reported that speedrunning is a thing. So run on over and learn about this. I've got a link in the show notes to this article. And Madeline Rowe, who's writing the upcoming World of Warcraft novel, Shadows Rising, sat down with the Nerds with Friends podcast to talk about writing a WoW book on episode 201. I saw an announcement from Rowe about the Gold Bank Community Discord, where different gold-making content creators have come together under one server. And then Jay the Bard and Charm have a new cover called Valajar, which is a cover of Amaranth. And while you're listening to that, you might want to look at a gorgeous wallpaper of the WoW Cosmology chart. Icy Veins chose this one by Redditor AJT2K19. And Felly made an amazing pride poster for Oak on Twitter that showcases Bane Bloodhoof with the quote, "No life is worth living if we cannot be true to our nature." Well, Fabulous showcases a romantic moment between Lorthamar and Thalisra. Wowhead showcases a gorgeous horde-themed PC tower by Zephyrus made out of wood. And Wowhead also shows us a gorgeous Ysera the Dreamer sculpture by Julie Colibri. And finally, if you need some ASMR, Layla is making Well Read, an ASMR Warcraft lore adventure, and episode 1 is now out on YouTube. There were so many more things I saw this week, but I didn't want to make this episode way too long. These were just some of the highlights. This community is full of so many passionate players, and I know my cover doesn't cover it all. Definitely keep an eye on Twitter, Icy Veins, MMO Champions, Wowhead, the r/WoW subreddit, as well as this podcast. There are just so many great things happening. It's difficult to summarize all in one segment.
This has been another awesome episode of FrazlCast. Take it away, Frazzle Pants.
Thank you, Scruffy. Thank you to Caper76, who said that they really enjoyed the show with Scruffy, Pete, Lady Emma, and I, where we talked about streaming. They said they've been off and on with streaming for a while, and they've had a lot of those struggles. Glad I'm not alone on these learning curves, and I definitely got some good tips and advice. Thank you, Caper. And then I got an email from Austin who said, I just tuned into your podcast for the first time and listened to your streaming episode. I just started streaming WoW and our guild shenanigans a few weeks ago, and I absolutely loved all the advice you gave out. I'm a very personal person, and I connected to your show and advice on a personal level. I just wanted to drop by and say thank you, and I'll be continuing to listen and watch you all on Twitch. Thank you, Austin, and if you want to find them on Twitch, they're at Franks_Hot Sauce Guild. And then I was on the Tar and the Goblin 96, where I talked with Nick and Katie about Lore Master and so many different things. That was a lot of fun. And then Tom of 3 Extra Lives interviewed me on level 50 about my journey as a Twitch streamer. And then on Twitch, as promised, after unlocking the 5th and final sub emote, until I get the partner that is, I ate the Carolina Reaper chip. There's a highlight of it, as well as clips on the channel. That thing was hot! Thank you to everyone who helped complete a level 2 hype train as well during the event. In addition to that chip, I've been adding some weird things to eat. I have added sour pickle balls, which are exactly what they sound like. They're something that you can make me eat on stream using FrazlDazzles. Those things pack a punch and really make me pucker up. Every week, I like to thank those who have given back to this show financially. Over on Twitch, thank you to Cap, Michael of Tuners Maybe More, and Telleroid for the gifted subs. And thank you to my Twitch subs out there. Thank you to Amanda of Geek Herring, Urquhart, Cap, Chaotic Goodish, Chris of MMO Reporter, Chromatic Sim, Crunk, Dalek Kupo, Demeternoth, Epic and Sandy of Frozen Nerds, Fiesta Taco 1983, Frank's Hot Sauce Guild, Green Dragon, Grand Nagus of Control Alt WoW, Harlow, Carenza, KR Soli, Lucas of Cardiac Valley, Marty of Tuners Maybe More, Michael of Tuners Maybe More and the Genome Project, Miss Susie Q, Knight, P. Destroys on Azeroth, Pippin YT, Razuris, Sister Lord, Solana, Taluin, Pelaroid, Tom of 3 Extra Lives, Uncle Will 6, and Zortz the Goblin. And thank you to Amanda, Cap, Fiesta Taco 1983, Mal, Marty of Tuners Maybe More, Michael Tuners Maybe More and the Genome Project, Holly, P. Destroys on Azeroth, Sister Lord, and Squinty Eyes for the Bits. If you want to support the show financially, please go to support.gnomepodcast.com. And if you have Twitch Prime through Amazon Prime, you can use your free Twitch Prime subscription on my channel and get access to emotes, ad-free viewing, and all of your support goes up and support this labor of love. Thank you so much. Well, I am Frazly, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. There you can catch past episodes and find many of the places where you can subscribe to this show and get the Gnome Train coming to you every single week. Well, until next week, be awesome.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard games, and they are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended. This show is for the community, and it contains contributions from the community. The Gnome Train intro is by Ali of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth. The opening music is by Brandon T. Blaylock. The Gnome Roar is by Jen of Morally Grey Podcast, and the Frazzle Pants bumper at the end is by the Scruffy Druid of Loot Optional and Viral Voice Arts.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio.
Podcasts to make your week better. Remember to smile and be awesome.
Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.
It's been fun. Farewell.